How's it going, everybody? Back again. Decided to do some upgrades to the tank before buying more livestock. Decided to go with the current Orbit Ramp Timer Pro LED light fixture with their bracket they recommend. It's down here is the actual timer here. It's all built, all one built in one. Has a timer, ramps up. I'm just using the current default setting of their one module. I think it runs I think 10 hour day, and it goes from sunrise to sunset. It's pretty cool. Not to mess with it all on its own. One thing about the bracket I can say is it kind of stinks with this tank because of the glass being so thin that it's made for bigger tanks, it seems like. So I had to, if you can see, actually you probably can see through the water here. I had to use some cardboard for right now. I'm going to cut some rubber out and put rubber behind it so it doesn't look so jank right now. But in the meantime, but other than that, light sits right above, works perfect. And it does overhang, as you can tell, overhangs the tank here a little bit, but I'm not too worried about it. Does its job. I'm in the works of actually doing a custom tank stand for this tank because it's on this old junky entertainment center for right now. I'm gonna build a custom tank so I can put everything underneath and actually have some good wire management and all that as well. Second thing I purchased was the ATO Smart Micro Auto Top Off right here. I think it's worth its weight in gold. Haven't zero issues with it so far. I mean, I've only had it since Friday, but today's Monday. Sits down in here in this chamber, and I have it just ran to a 5-gallon bucket right now. Put RDOI in it. Put about 4 gallons in it so far, and it's doing its job. Another thing, as I took away I had that this all-in-one thermostat and timing. Make sure it doesn't overheat, but I'm not getting any overheat issues currently right now with the top off now. So heat is exchanging, because of evaporation and all that stuff. So it's really keeping my tank right there about, it bounces from all the way down to 79.3 to 79.8. It stays in 79 the entire day. So that's good. A little bit more stable than what it was in the past. I highly recommend Auto Top Off. It's nice. That's like my only daily chore for the most part, other than feeding the clownfish. And speaking of fish, haven't seen my blenny in a while. It's been about 5 days. And I've looked at every angle on these rocks, and I just haven't seen them. But ammonia levels are down. I tested the ammonia levels yesterday, and it was 0 ppm. Haven't seen any kind of, the water's crystal clear. I changed the water on Friday, did a 2-gallon water change. That's what I do weekly, about 2 gallons. I'm going to ramp it up about 2.5. I realized that I was using just regular marine salt for fish, and doesn't have all the trace elements I'm going to need for the corals. So I bought the different reef crystals for actual reef tanks. So I'm going to start doing 2.5 gallons. I noticed that my pH dropped a little bit and calcium levels, not calcium levels, my hardness dropped a little bit as well. So I'm going to ramp that up with the reef crystals for reef tanks. I think that will solve the problem. But other than that, the coral's looking all right. My hammer coral doesn't really like water changes that much. He kind of closes up, and then he'll open back up by midweek. So by Wednesday, he'll be completely open again. Xenia coral, you can't really kill that thing. It's just continuing to grow. Has new arms on it every other day. You see here, clownfish is actually hiding for once. Usually he's wanting to be right there in the front. And you see all these little white specks on my tank here. I got some good growth going of some kind of pod of some sort. I can't remember what they're called offhand. You see here, the front side of the tank there. They're all over the place, so that's a good sign of a healthy tank there. So another thing I did over the weekend was finally hook my RO Buddie up to the wall, as you see here. Put it on the wall here and ran the water line and all that. The only thing I have to do is disconnect the actual intake line, because my water valve back here can't take a Y connection because the on and off for it doesn't sit high enough and it hits. So, which is not bad. I have to, for connecting and disconnecting, it takes like two seconds to do, and I usually filter all my water at once. So there's my salt water there and those, and there's some more fresh water. I just dump that into the auto top off bucket when it gets low. Put 2 gallons at once. So, man, doing 5-7 gallons at once. It's no big deal. And I use this is my TDS meter I was using. Definitely, I recommend the RO Buddie if you ever a nano tank. If you're doing only 2 to 3 gallon water changes weekly, this thing kills it. I'm getting 0 ppm after the filter, and before the filter I was getting 225 ppm out of my faucet. So it tells you it's doing its job well. Fairly inexpensive, like $74, $70 or something like that. Works miracles. So, like I said, here's the salt. So that's what I just purchased. This stuff, it's for actual reef tanks, and I was just using the regular stuff here just for marine aquariums. And I realized that my pH levels were a little low after water changes, and my hardness is dropping a little bit. So I'm gonna try this stuff out, and I'm gonna do 2.5 gallon, 3 gallon water changes next week. Get me back up to the levels, and plus my salinity was kind of low. It was like at 2.3 ish. I want to get back up to about 2.4, 2.5 at the max. And with the auto top off now, I don't have to really worry about salinity spikes. Is keeping it in check. So I'm not having 0 evaporation, obviously. Well, I mean, as soon as it evaporates, it gets replenished, so I don't have to worry about that. But other than that, tank's looking well. Can't wait to have the custom tank stand up. And say in a couple weeks here, I'm going to purchase some more corals and give it about another week or so before I add anything else to the tank. Thinking about getting a firefish and 2 or 3 different corals. I'm going to get a leather of some sort, so definitely some zoas, some mushrooms. I don't know, I'm just going to see what they have in stock and go from there. Want to get a frog spawn or a torch coral or something like that as well. Other than that, tank's looking well. I like the new setup with the light. Looks slick. I just wish the power cord was centered so I can actually run it behind, but it's whatever. I'm just being nitpicky. But if you have any questions about my tank setup, I usually try to respond within 24 hours. Pretty fast about it. Usually I'm a couple minutes or an hour or so. I'm always on social media of some sort. Yeah, if you have questions, comments, concerns, just hit me up and I'll try to help you guys out. Other than that, everything's looking good. I'll see you guys in a couple weeks, hopefully with some new corals and fish. See ya.